So, that was a football game. The Rams and Bears went at it on Monday Night Football, and the Rams got the 24-10 win. Now, the game was relatively low scoring for the most part, but if you watch this game, you'll just see that the Bears offense got absolutely wrecked by the Rams defense. They got battered. I mean, Nick Foles had absolutely no protection for pretty much the whole game. That Bears offensive line is garbage, and they couldn't hold Aaron Donald and this Rams defense. They just couldn't hold them. They couldn't hold them. They couldn't compete with them. It was bad, man. It just got to a certain point in the fourth quarter where, like, just turn this off. You just want to turn this game off because this this Bears offense is just so bad. The offensive line is so terrible, and they're just getting absolutely wrecked. Nick Foles in this game was complete and utter garbage. Now, granted, he did not have any protection for much of this game, so he did not have time to throw. But this man missed out on a lot of opportunities where receivers did get open, and he just didn't hit them. He could have had 2 touchdown passes in this game if he would have put some air on the ball and give his receiver a chance, because they were clearly open downfield. One was actually towards the end of this game where a receiver got open. I don't remember who, but they got open, and if Nick Foles just puts some air on the ball and gives his receiver a chance, that's 6 points. He instead chose to throw it out of bounds. So that pretty much ended the day for the Bears. He threw 2 interceptions. Both of them were pretty bad. The first one was tipped up in the air and picked off, but Nick Foles tried to force that at the back of the end zone. That was the one drive they had the entire game that was good. The one great drive by the Bears where they actually got down to the goal line. Nick Foles chose to force that ball into a tight window. It gets tipped in the air and picked off in the end zone, and that pretty much ends the Bears' day because the Rams get the ball back, and they go right down the field and score a touchdown, pretty much putting this game on ice. I mean, that was the third quarter, but this game was pretty much over. The Bears offense could not move the ball for much of this game. And that's because the offensive line was so trash. Oh my God, they were trash. But mostly because the offense was just put in a lot of bad positions to start. And that really comes to who should be the MVP of this game, the Rams punter, Johnny Hecker. This guy was just putting the ball, just dropping that inside the 5 and causing the Bears to have to go on long drives if they want to score. And with the way this Bears offense was playing, they were not going to be able to move the ball like that. So, yeah, Bears offense for the most part was bad. They couldn't do anything. They got 3 points the entire game. The only reason they had any sort of opportunity to try and stay in this game was because of their defense. Now, the defense, for the most part, they played well, except for one drive. And that's the go-ahead touchdown drive that happened after Nick Foles threw the interception at the goal line. Because the Rams started, I think, at the 25 at that point, and the Bears defense proceeded to let these dudes go all the way down the field and score a touchdown to pretty much put this game on ice. That was the only time the Bears defense was bad this entire game. But honestly, they became the offense for the entire Bears team, because that Bears defense actually managed to cause 2 fumbles. Khalil Mack caused 1 fumble on Jared Goff that got them the ball back, and then they caused another fumble that was picked up and returned for a touchdown. So the only touchdown the Bears got in this game was because of the defense. So defense, for the most part, they played great in this game. It's just that one drive where they gave up that go-ahead touchdown that pretty much iced this game at the end of the third quarter, because there was no way the Bears were going to make this comeback with the way their offense was playing. That one drive is what pretty much was the only blemish that defense had. So that pretty much put the game on ice. Moving on to the Rams. Rams offense did relatively well. They were going up against a tough Bears defense, so they did what they could. And again, that one drive that they got the touchdown was the best drive of the game for the Rams. Jared Goff himself, he got strip sacked, but other than that, he played a relatively clean game. He had 2 touchdown passes. He looked nice. He looked poised in the pocket. When he had time, he threw the ball downfield. He made plays. So you got to be happy with what you saw from the Rams offense. On the flip side, that Rams defense absolutely tormented Nick Foles and the Bears offense. They decimated them. Aaron Donald and the crew was doing their thing. Jalen Ramsey even got an interception in this game. They took him over. They just absolutely embarrassed the Bears offense. And now everyone's looking sideways at this Bears offense thinking, did this Bears offense compete with the Bucs? Matter of fact, how did the Bucs lose to the Bears? Nobody can put 2 and 2 together here. So you beat the Bucs and you proceed to get destroyed by the Rams? Nobody knows what's going on at this point. But yeah, other than that, it was a tough game to watch. It was a tough game to watch because this Bears offense was just pathetic. And they were getting manhandled the entire game, so that fourth quarter was just embarrassing. It was just embarrassing. Most people would have turned the game off at that point. But it is what it is. Nick Foles looked like garbage. But the Bears are 5-2 now, and they're still competing for a playoff spot, so it is what it is. As for the Rams, they move up to 5-2, and they keep pace in the best division in football, the NFC West. Because everybody in the NFC West is over 500. Honestly, with the way everyone in the NFC is looking, especially the NFC East, we could very likely see all 4 teams in the NFC West make the playoffs this year. That's how great that division's playing. It's going to be a battle to see who wins that division. It's craziness. But anyway, that's all I got for this game. For the most part, it definitely was a great defensive game because this was the game where you saw Aaron Donald and just everyone on that defense shine. And then you looked at the Bears. Everyone on the Bears defense was mostly shining, especially Khalil Mack with his strip sack. And yeah, it was a great defensive game. If you looked at this and said, I came here for defense, you're going to like what you saw because both defenses were competing, and it was definitely a tough defensive match. Sadly, the offenses, at least on the Bears side, was not able to keep up and compete. The Rams held up. The Rams did what they needed to do. The Rams put up points when they needed to put up points, and they found a way to win the game. But the Bears, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't even know what to make of this Bears team at this point because I don't know if they're good or bad because they beat the Bucs, but they get exposed by the Rams. I don't know what they are. Nobody knows what to make of this Bears team. Nobody knows how this Bears team is even 5-2 right now. This team is 5-2. That is insanity. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. The Bears are going to have to figure out the situation. Nick Foles is going to be that guy. He's got to play better. If he's going to be the guy that's going to help this team moving forward for the rest of the season, he cannot be as bad as he was today because this was absolutely pathetic by him. Those 2 interceptions were poor by him. He's got to be better. I understand the offensive line was terrible, but he himself knows he's got to be better in those moments. And sometimes you got to pick your spots and you got to give your receiver a chance. Stop trying to force the ball in the tight windows when you see the coverage. He's clearly covered. Don't throw that pass. And most importantly, give your receiver a chance to get that ball. That's all I'm asking for. Anyway, that's all I got for this game. Interesting Monday Night Football game for the most part defensively. Offensively, Bears were trash. That's all I got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace.